Hi guys, you're about to watch the free podcast of the Young Turks, fun for everybody. Now, you understand that there's only two of our segments. We do a live 2-hour show every day, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
And if you want to hear the entire show, all you have to do is become a member. Sign up by going to tytnetwork.com.
You can go under member options to become a member, and when you do that, it's totally convenient. You can either stream or download the show, audio or video. Plus, you get more of our network shows. There's no ads whatsoever, and you help support the show. So, tytnetwork.com. We'll see you there. All right, back on the Young Turks. So, Chris Christie recently ordered an investigation of himself and hired a lawyer of his own choosing to conduct that investigation. Well, isn't that convenient? Isn't this ridiculous? I mean, already this story is unbelievable. You know, he was in trouble for the closing down the George Washington Bridge, which was a scandal, and then it turns out he dealt the Superstorm Sandy money, relief money, according to political benefits that he got. And then there was a third story about how he took 9/11 memorabilia from the actual site of the World Trade Center and gave it out to political allies if they endorsed them. Oh, and so he thinks, okay, well, this is a mess. So obviously no one is going to side with me except my own lawyer. Let me give you a headline from CBS News. Chris Christie's lawyers exonerate Christie in bridge scandal. Oh, I see. Okay, even that headline is too kind to him because it says exonerate in it, and that's what people might read and mistake this for a real investigation. Now, there will be a real investigation, federal prosecutors, and also there's state investigations coming up. But to give you a sense of how absurd it was that he had this guy, Mastro, do the investigation, CBS News explains, like Christie, Mastro, who was the lead investigator here, hired by Christie, is a former federal prosecutor. He's a former chief of staff to New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani, another former prosecutor who has staunchly defended Christie on talk shows since the scandal broke open in January. Several people in Christie's circle once worked for Giuliani, and it goes on and on. There's many other partners at Mastro's firm that also have worked and had close ties with Chris Christie. Half of Christie's staff is former Giuliani guys. Mastro's a former Giuliani guy. And on top of that, what a lot of these articles fail to mention is that Mastro represents the Port Authority, which is deeply involved in the scandal. One of the guys fired was from the Port Authority that Chris Christie put in there to do the political tricks. The conflicts of interest are outrageous. And, well, to be fair, though, they said they talked to a lot of people. And so I'm sure they talked to the opposing side that has a totally different story. Oh, wait, look at the Hill. They say the firm also drew its conclusions without interviewing Kelly, Wildstein, Baroni, or Stepien. Those are the four people accused in the scandal. In fact, the report says it was Kelly and Wildstein. Yeah, those guys. Fired them already. Sorry. Totally their fault. In fact, they even say that Kelly was having an affair with Stepien, who was, of course, Chris Christie's campaign manager. Now, Kelly's his deputy chief of staff anyway. Wildstein's put into the Port Authority by Chris Christie. These are all Chris Christie's people. The whitewashing of the report was unbelievable. They had scenes where Christie comes in and he was emotional with his staff and teared up saying, I want truth and honesty. Please level with me. The report is such an unbelievable, colossal joke. And they say, oh, well, and Kelly having the affair with Stepien, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you know how women get emotional after the affair broke off. Unbelievable. I mean, I've seen some whitewashes in my life, but this takes the cake. Now, they're going to discuss this on air, but apparently Karl Rove does not agree. Where is that? Did I do this right? Yes. Okay. Yeah, right? I thought there was a second clip. There's only that one clip, right? All right, everything's going to be all right. Let's go to Fox News.
We haven't seen a shred of evidence.
What happened to the Karl Rove one? It didn't make it. Damn it. Okay, that's why I was confused. Okay. So anyway, on Fox News, Karl Rove went out there and said, conflict of interest. There's no conflict of interest. This kid totally exonerates him. Anyway, let's move on. All is solved. I guess Chris Christie's not guilty. His own lawyer said it. How could you argue? New York Times described the press conference where Mastro revealed his report as looking like a defense attorney presenting his case to the jury. So it's okay because Mastro's going to come on this week with George Stephanopoulos on ABC And he's going to explain that, George, there is no conflict here.
We haven't seen a shred of evidence that the governor knew anything about this lane realignment decision beforehand. If it were there in the hard evidence, we would have seen it.
Respond to this charge of conflict of interest. Your own law firm was also working for the Port Authority. Isn't that a conflict of interest on its face?
No, it isn't, George. The representation of the Port Authority, which has been cleared by the Port Authority, was something where both governors' offices agreed that my firm should represent the Port Authority. We had access to Port Authority documents as well. Let me be clear. We've had no incentive at our law firm to do anything other than to get to the truth. We will be judged at the end of the day by whether we got it right. And George, we believe that we got it right.
And George, you see, if you speak and say his name, then you get a personal connection, and then we believe you. They had no incentive. Oh, except for that $1 million they were paid. Did I mention that part? And get this, taxpayer money. Chris Christie pays $1 million. I thought he was a fiscal conservative. He cared so much about saving taxpayer money for the good folks in New Jersey, unless, of course, he hires his own attorneys to spend $1 million of taxpayer money defending himself. Outrageous. He talks about evidence. What evidence? They have evidence in the report that the mayor that refused to endorse him and then had the George Washington Bridge closed on him, which affected his town. They got the emails saying that he will not endorse. The next day they close the bridge and they write emails saying this is political payback. And Mastro says, well, it was unclear why they did that. We couldn't come to a conclusion. Well, I know you were just looking for the facts, that's all. And then on the issue of the mayor saying, hey, he withheld Superstorm Sandy aid from us if we didn't endorse him, he said, those were demonstrably false, those charges. And then went on to say nothing about them. Well, then if they're demonstrably false, by definition, you would be able to demonstrate it. Which, of course, he couldn't because he's a paid lackey. By the way, what's really frustrating is in articles like the one I read on The Hill, which covers, obviously, Capitol Hill, the fact that they had conflicts of interest when representing Chris Christie was put in the 24th paragraph of the story. Exonerated, this, that, cleared, no evidence, etc. Oh, by the way, this guy is deeply involved with Chris Christie. Anyway, let's move on. In the 25th paragraph, no. 26th paragraph, they finally explained that they spent $1 million in taxpayer money to pay this guy for the whitewash report of Chris Christie. It's a frickin' joke, man. Okay, so that's his stupid report. And look, man, you know what's so... Look, conservatives have a good point when they get frustrated. Not a good point, a great point when they get frustrated with the misuse of taxpayer money. My parents and my sister and my family and a lot of my friends live in New Jersey. They all had to pay for that report. Oh, man, that makes me angry. Okay. All right. Now, there's actually another Chris Christie story that might be a bigger problem for him, even though it's getting very little play, of course, but it actually tells you a lot more about our system. Okay. Now, recently we told you about how 4 presidential hopefuls on the Republican side went to Vegas to kiss Sheldon Adelson's ring. And they wanted to get legalized bribes from to the tune of millions of dollars. And of course, Sheldon Adelson spent about $40 million at a minimum. We can't see the dark money that he spent on last year's presidential run. He gave it all to Republicans, wasted a good deal of it on Newt Gingrich. That was fun. And he said this time around, we're going to do more due diligence. We're going to do analysis. And by that, he means he's going to have everybody come and grovel to him. So John Kasich from Ohio went there, Governor Walker from Wisconsin went there, and Chris Christie went there. But as he was kissing Adelson's ass, let's get real, he missed and accidentally kissed his nutsack. So, and then it got ugly. Now, here's what I mean by that. They were talking about Israel, or Christie was. Now, Adelson cares a lot about his taxes. He cares a lot about covering up investigations of criminal wrongdoing that are ongoing right now. But he also cares a lot about Israel. And he's a right-winger. And so he thinks Israel has all the territory, and sad day for the Palestinians. And he's an extreme right-winger in this case. So Chris Christie goes in there to kiss his ass. Oh, Israel's awesome. Believe me, if you support me with all of your money, I don't give a damn about being even-handed. I'll be all for Israel, 100%. But as he was saying that, he said this: I took a helicopter ride from the occupied territories across and just felt personally how extraordinary that was to understand the military risk that Israel faces every day. So he's actually trying to kiss ass here, right? Man, I know you. I know what you're carrying. You want to destroy the investigations. You want to destroy labor. You want to save tax dollars. And you want to make sure we take this extreme right-wing position on Israel. I got your back. So what did he do wrong? Well, right-wingers heard that and they thought, he said occupied territories. Wait a minute, aren't they occupied? Apparently, according to the right-wingers in Israel, they're not occupied. Did you not read the Old Testament? They're ours. So Christie had to come out, as reported by Politico. The source told Politico that Christie clarified in the strongest terms possible that his remarks today were not meant to be a statement of policy. Instead, the source said, Christie made clear that he misspoke when he referred to the occupied territories, and he conveyed that he is an unwavering friend and committed supporter of Israel and was sorry for any confusion that came across as a result of the misstatement. How sad is this? How pathetic is this? Put aside the issue of Israel, like that they go to a guy who's going to buy them, who's going to buy the presidency. Now, they don't win every time, and Adelson didn't win last time. President Obama beat his chosen candidates. But if a Republican wins, they're likely going to go there and say, oh, Adelson, whatever you want. I'm so sorry I said occupied territories. Please, whip me. Anything you want. Beat me. I will let you personally spank me. I'm so sorry. Of course the Palestinians are not in occupied territories. Those territories are full of rainbows and sunshine and unicorns. And of course they should be Israel's. I don't know why Palestinians are there and not in the middle of the sea. Did I do right? Did I do right? What else can I do to kiss your ass? It's so sick. Look at our system. Look at what money in politics has done to our system. It's not like Chris Christie was a good guy to begin with. I know he was craven. He's been craven in 18 different ways. The guy gave away 9/11 memorabilia, the rubble of the World Trade Center, for political favors. I know he's a bad guy. But our system is now rewarding those bad guys. We've set up a system where you can't be a good guy, where you've got to have this money to win. That's why President Obama also ignored public financing in his run in 2012. That's why the #1 donors to President Obama in 2008 was the financial services industry, the banks. This system is deeply corrupt. And then at the end, they asked Adelson for a response to this. Has he groveled enough in front of you? Has he embarrassed himself enough with his retractions over the words occupied territories? Huffington Post reports, Adelson was reportedly satisfied with Christie's apology. Wow. By the way, Chris Christie's supposed to be a tough guy. How tough does he look now? Pathetic. Oh, yeah, you're a real citizen in New Jersey? Oh, yeah, I'm going to bully you on the boardwalk. I'm so fucking... Adelson. Fuck off. All right, anyway. Do I get a little angry at the end of the stories? God, man, tough guy, my ass. This guy's been a political cocksucker his whole life. Okay, you know how he got into office, right? Oh, U.S. Attorney for New Jersey. You know what he was before being a U.S. Attorney? A lobbyist. He had no experience as a prosecutor. None, not a day of prosecutorial. I had more experience as a prosecutor. I interned 2 summers as a prosecutor. I had more experience than the guy who got selected to be the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, the District Attorney for New Jersey. Why? Because he was a professional cocksucker. He got a lot of money for George W. Bush and his campaigns. He did. But that's what he did for a living. Oh, I'm so tough. Oh, yeah, you're a citizen. You're a reporter. I'm going to bully you. Hey, where are the politicians? Such a fucking fraud. As if I wasn't clear enough. All right. We better move on. Okay, Michael Lewis. Michael Lewis has got a new book out about the stock market. Oh boy, it ain't pretty. He's going to go on 60 Minutes to talk about it. It's called Flash Boys because it's about flash trading and how they have a monumental advantage over the regular trader, meaning you and me who go out there in the stock market and make file our trades. We're such suckers. Listen.
What's the headline here?
Stock market's rigged. The United States stock market, the most iconic market in global capitalism, is rigged.
By whom?
By a combination of the stock exchanges, the big Wall Street banks, and high-frequency traders.
Who are the victims?
Everybody who has an investment in the stock market.
Yeah, well, that sounds fun. No. The powerful have not rigged the system in their favor. All you belly aching about income inequality. Boo-hoo. Show you progressives complaining about that, you're like the Nazis. But they literally fix the markets in their favor. Here's more from Michael Lewis.
The insiders are able to move faster than you. They're able to see your order and play it against other orders in ways you don't understand. They're able to front run your order.
What do you mean front run?
It means they're able to identify your desire to buy shares in Microsoft and buy them in front of you and sell them back to you at a higher price. It all happens in infinitesimally small periods of time.
No, why are we complaining about this, man? I mean, he has more money than you because he front-loaded your trade and did it before you got to. And so when he front-ran the trade, you literally paid more than you had to. I don't know why you're complaining about income inequality. Oh, poor Wall Street. They're so misunderstood. Not only is the entire Republican Party sucking up to Wall Street, Hillary Clinton got $400,000 from Goldman Sachs, and in those speeches talked about how the bankers are misunderstood. Now, Michael Lewis is one of the best writers we have in the country. He wrote Moneyball. He wrote The Big Short about the 2008 collapse and the people who made money off of that. It was a great book. It was so eye-opening. I read that book, and I was absolutely positive, and I am positive to this day, that we will have another monumental meltdown. And the next economic meltdown, we will not be able to fix. It will be so catastrophic. Because in the book, he simply explains things that are logical, incentives, disincentives. And their incentive is not to help the markets. They don't give a damn about the free market. They'll rig that market in a second. Their incentive is not ideology. Their incentive is me getting paid right this minute. Look, a lot of these guys, they don't own the company. They're executives in the companies, even if it's a bank. And even if the bank goes under, who gives a damn? The guy who caused AIG to go belly up made $600 million. Is he going to do it again? Of course he's going to do it again. Now, if he's not allowed to do it, what difference does it make? He's already got $600 million. And by the way, we had to rescue them to the tune of over $180 billion because of that guy's mistakes. But they weren't mistakes because he already made the money. He doesn't give a shit about AIG. He doesn't care about the American taxpayer. And it'll be a new guy, and he won't care about you either. He'll rig this market. He'll rig the housing market. They'll rig whatever market it takes. And eventually, of course, it's going to blow up. But that's not their problem because they already got paid. No, us progressives, just bitter. The politics of envy, they call it. Yeah, if you get to make the trade before I do and I pay more because you rigged the trade, I'm a little envious that you robbed me of my money. Yeah, I guess that's not the right way to go. Am I angry about that? Yeah, I'm a little angry about that. As we all should be. By the way, as the Republicans love to remind us, all of our 401ks are in the market. That means that anybody who's got a 401k, they're robbing you. They robbed you yesterday, they're going to rob you today, and they're going to rob you tomorrow. And no one is going to fix it because as Dick Durbin, second most powerful senator on the Democrat side, said, frankly, the big banks own this place. There will be no fix in the stock market, or there already is a fix, but they will not fix it. And certainly they will not fix Washington, unless, of course, we come for them. Wolf-Pack.com. All right. I can't believe I'm going to run out of time. There's so many great stories today. I got to tell you about this, though, because it's unbelievable. Okay, let's go to Jason Wisniewski. There are a lot of outrageous and atrocious Republicans across the country. There's a lot of terrible politicians, period, across the country. But there's some chance that Jason Wisniewski takes the cake. Now, he's running for a local county board seat in Wisconsin, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But what made it a big deal are the things that he did and the outrageous statements that he made. First of all, he was asked by the Green Bay Press-Gazette, hey, listen, you were convicted and went to jail in 2008 for mistreating animals, and they wanted to ask him about that. Now, mistreating animals sounds pretty bad. You want to know what he did? He broke his cat's legs. I mean, mistreating animals like that is usually a telltale sign of what? Okay, now he's not a serial killer, okay, as far as we know. But wow, man, I literally don't understand how you can do that. Just to take your cat's legs and break them. I don't know how he did it. But look, it's not in dispute. He now says he denies breaking the cat's legs, but back then he pled guilty and he spent 3 days in jail. But how many years did Michael Vick get? You know, I know there was more dogs involved, but you break your cat's legs and you get 3 days in jail? All right, anyway. So they ask him about that and he gets upset. And out of nowhere, he says something about a politician in Wisconsin on the Democratic side that he's not even running against. He says, it's funny how they never bring up Dave Hansen murdering his grandchild, though. What? So now, here's where it gets worse. Dave Hansen is a grandfather, and something heartbreaking happened. Some years ago, he accidentally ran over his 23-month-old granddaughter in the driveway. Now, as even Wisniewski will admit later, of course it wasn't murder, it was an accident. Everybody knows it, right? But to accuse him of murder like that is beyond the pale, it appears, but apparently nothing's beyond the pale for this guy. And then his wife, Monica Podgorski-Wisniewski, says, Hansen is a murderer, but because of who he is and his money, he got away with it, yet liberals forgive the child killer. Can you say hypocrisy? So then they go to ask Dave Hansen about this, and he says, it's something we live with as grandparents every day. It's almost 7 years. It will be 7 years in July when we lost Eliana. And something you remember of every second of every day. So now this is so beyond the pale that the Republican Party disowns Wisniewski. They cut ties with him. They have requested his resignation. So then he decides, well, I got to backpedal out of this. And he says, quote, in no way am I calling Mr. Hansen a murderer. I understand what happened was an accident. No, wait. Let me go back to that first quote. In no way am I calling him a murderer, except when you said, it's funny how they never bring up Dave Hansen murdering his grandchild. I believe that would be one way that you were calling him a murderer. So just when you thought that you reached the bottom of the barrel with Republicans, it turns out they can go lower. Oh my God, I'm out of time. That's unbelievable. All right, I got a bunch of great stories for you, but that's what God made tomorrow for. Stay right here, because actually the story of the day about the guy who got DuPont Air, who got off for raping his own daughter because he was too rich. If you thought I was angry in the first hour, wait till you get a load of me in that story. We'll be right back.
That was a segment from hour one of the show.
Now for the better hour, the second hour.
Drums. You can get the whole show on tytnetwork.com. All right, back on the Young Turks. It is one of those days.
Sometimes I feel discouraged.
Sometimes I feel discouraged. Today is unfortunately one of those days. There was a light moment, though, before I go to the member announcements and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. In the Albuquerque protests, if you noticed, Noah did join the protest, which I appreciate on his part. Let's watch. And there's Russell Crowe right there. I don't know if that's a good sign or a sign of the end times. Oh, look, Noah at the ballpark.
It's funny. I love that you noticed that.
It looks more like Michael Schur.
Yeah, it totally does. Okay. I thought of Michael Schur immediately.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, that's another possibility. But by the way, Michael Schur this close getting to getting the Noah role. Russell Crowe barely beat him out.
By the way, before you go to all that, let me just plug some stuff that I just did today, or I'm going to do today. So I did Abby Martin's show, Breaking the Set. Check out that interview. It was a really good interview. We talked about a number of things, including, the media, people trying to fire Colbert over his joke about Asian people. It was a really good interview. So check that out.
And you really got to check it out today, because tomorrow the set's broken and
they're breaking it. Yeah. They're breaking that set.
And you know how Casper moves the furniture.
I like to go in there and command the room.
Yeah.
And then I'm also doing David Feldman's podcast tonight, so listen to that.
Oh, really?
Boom.
Comedian
That's right.
David Feldman? Mm-hmm. Okay,
There's a really funny story behind that. I'll tell you in the post-game show.
Okay,
Yeah.
that dude is acerbic, by the way, so get ready.
What does that mean?
Like, he can be curmudgeonly, but like in a fun way.
He came on the show and like he was on the point with Cara Santa Maria, and he's a vegan or a vegetarian, and he was like, she was talking about climate change and everything. And he's like, oh, that's cool. You care about climate change, huh? Well, you're wrong because you eat meat and you're destroying the planet. And like he just started tearing her apart, and I was like, oh, this is really uncomfortable because as the host, you're supposed to moderate that situation. But
yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
And last time, I don't know if any of you remember. You got to be really old school, young Turks guy to remember this. But last time David was on the live show, he ripped into Ariana Huffington.
Damn.
Like, I don't agree with his criticism, but he's like, whatever.
He gets feisty for
Oh,
sure.
he's super feisty. So his podcast could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, now I'm a little worried, but okay.
So check Anna out there, see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of comedians, I'd like to welcome a new comedian to the show, Anna Kasparian.
What?
So on Saturday, we did a little dry run for Mayday, right?
Yeah.
The No Apologies Tour. Me, Anna, Ben, and Jimmy, we did it at the Fake Gallery.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, look at Anna Kasparian.
Was I really funny, though?
She was rock solid. It's not like everybody walked away thinking, new Seinfeld, it's over. Okay, right? But no, I'm not fucking around.
Yeah.
Rock solid.
Thank you.
Okay.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I was really nervous because I don't see myself as a funny person, so being put on the spot where you're expected to be funny is nerve-wracking. But I was like, whatever. If I think something's funny, I'm going to say it.
You're going to say it.
If
and you said it, and it was funny.
Yeah, and if I don't have anything to say, then I'm not going to say anything. And it was totally fine.
Exactly.
So last thing really fast. Since Cenk is co-signing hard all day for Anna on this comedy, just give us one example. Do you remember one? Because usually there's one good thing you remember that she said. I said it this morning in the meeting. I remember one of the funniest things you said.
Yeah.
But it was about the one-liners we do. But like, do you remember anything that was said on Saturday?
Yeah, because I'd done Jimmy's show before, and we went through the videos. And, like I just did with Russell Crowe at the Albuquerque protest, we watched this whole thing. I had nothing to say about it. And Anna pointed out that one of the guys looked like he had guy liner on. Okay, and it was really funny, and everybody loved it, right? So I remember there was a bunch of things, but we all remember that. It was funny, la, 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 right? So, okay, so anyway, there's only 50, in the beginning of the show, there was only 50 tickets left for the May 1st live event, extravaganza, No Apologies Tour. There was 300 in the beginning, 250 are gone, over 250 are gone.
Insane.
Like, so it looks like we might, even though March has just today left in it?
Yeah. It's the 31st.
I wonder if we sell out before April. Okay, anyway. Seriously, I know this is it sounds like the worst. I'm looking out for you. No, seriously, if you want to see the show, you got to jump in at tytnetwork.com and go to TYT Tour Tickets. Okay, I want to thank members Matt Rock, member number 1343. Obviously, I think Matt has an awesome name. That's obviously should be in a movie. And member number 598 is Cheryl Merritt. Cheryl, Matt, you guys are awesome. Thank you. There's meetups coming up in Portland, Maine, Chicago. Oh, Chicago's going to build on their lead. You going to let them do that? No, they're not. Orlando, also on the leaderboard, also having a meeting coming up on the 14th of April, and so is Belgium. The muscles from Brussels. Okay. And finally, two tweets for you real quick. Agorija Frost, sorry. The aristocrats before the revolution are back from France. How long until heads start rolling? Look, I don't like that last part. The heads shouldn't be rolling, okay? The problem was that the crimes that the DuPont heir committed in the first place, the problems in Albuquerque, the violence that the police committed, etc. But what I do like is fixing the system. Okay, there's a constructive way to do it. Let's do it constructively. You know what I think that is. I think it's Wolfpack. Okay, and finally, Roar says, the bankers are misunderstood. We don't understand why they aren't in prison. Which is fair enough. All right. Yeah. A mix of outrageous and amusing stories. Forward.
Yes. The University of Arizona lost in the NCAA fucked that up already. Let me do that again.
Okay, all right, good luck.
All right. The University of Arizona lost in the NCAA, and as a result, some of the students took to the streets to do a little riot, little drums happening. And as a result, cops showed up with riot gear, and anytime that happens, of course, there's going to be a really violent and scary situation. Case in point, take a look at the video.
Okay, that was a woman that appeared to be going out like shopping for dinner or something. Her friends had like grocery bags with them.
Yeah, she was trying to get to her car, and for some reason, the cop felt that it was necessary to just rush her, as you can see in that footage.
Watch the bum rushing. It's about to happen. Boom!
Jeez.
So in the rest of the video, there's a lot of crying, there's a lot of cursing, etc. There's a lot of not understanding how to get to their cars. Okay, and so what stands out obviously in that video is how unnecessary it was, because it's not like there was mayhem. When there's mayhem and cops go overboard, there's a little bit more leeway. Oh my God, you know, they think their lives are in danger, and it was pandemonium around. No. There was a lady walking across with almost nothing else happening, and
yeah,
right?
That's exactly right. Now, there was a number of witnesses there. Phoebe was one of those witnesses, and Phoebe says the following. These girls had been trying to get to their car. The girl is on her phone, not paying attention to this cop, came out of nowhere and just leveled her. After that, everyone just started yelling, and she started crying. And you would think that maybe the Tucson Police Department would be a little sympathetic toward what happened to this totally innocent girl.
I wouldn't think that at all.
But no, not even a little bit. In fact, they released a statement saying the following. We've been hearing all the complaints that we were excessive and things like that as well, which you'll be able to see, I think, from what we have, that we have these dispersal orders over and over. They gave the dispersal orders over and over, and the crowd was not responding to it.
Okay, now look, they're mainly facing the crowd, and these people are coming out from behind them, but they're not the only people behind them. Mm-hmm. So if it was like these people bum rushed them from behind, I mean, I'm stretching to try to find a reason, but they were well behind that line. It looked like that guy couldn't wait to kick some ass.
Right.
And he didn't have a real target, so he's like, they're behind the line, I'll take this opportunity.
Oh, God. You know, she could have been paralyzed from that incident. Like, she could have, like, snapped her neck, broken her back. Who knows?
I'm surprised she got up, man. That was unbelievable she got up. Okay, here we go again. Now, look, first of all, people who riot after any kind of sporting event are
unbearable.
Unbearable. Look, it's not just that they're stupid. It's not that they're stupid at all. It's that they're looking for an opportunity. And they're college kids, and they're like, yeah, it's Arizona. They think it's fun. They're going to go overturn a car or whatever. If they win, sometimes they riot. If they lose, they riot. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's really irritating, right? And some people get caught up in that. There's 15 arrests. I mean, they're drunk, very likely. And so I would have been sympathetic to the cops in the first place if they hadn't mishandled it and then pretended they didn't mishandle it. But that guy was looking to deck someone. And
you go for the...
Why don't you go into the middle of the crowd and you do that if you're going to be a tough guy, right? But you're going to find an innocent woman who isn't paying attention. That's the one you're going to pick on, nowhere near the protests? That's because you're not interested in quelling the protests. You were interested in wielding that baton in the most vicious way that you could.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to the sex content in the second hour.
Oh, thanks, God.
All right, this is an amazing story. Ina Grohl is a former porn actress. She's been in a number of films, including one where she sleeps with a black male. Well, she recently decided that she wanted to be part of a neo-Nazi group in Germany. It's the neo-Nazi National Democratic Party. And at first, this party was absolutely okay with the fact that she had been in porn in the past. They were okay with that until they started doing a little more research and they found the film with her sleeping with a black man. So one of the neo-Nazi activists said the following: someone who sleeps with a foreign race in front of the camera can't advance the nationalist ideology.
Well, that seems fair. The first time neo-Nazis have ever been fair. Look, it's hard to be a neo-Nazi and sleep with black dudes.
What was she thinking? Like, what happened in her life? Like, look at your life, look at your choices, as Sassy Gay Friend says on YouTube. Okay.
All right, here's how things went down, right? she's an idiot. She doesn't know. That's what she did all kinds of porn because she wanted to get paid, and she doesn't really care. And she's like, all right, that's the guy that showed up today. Yeah, I'll fuck him. What is it? You got the money? Then I'll fuck him, right? And then since she's an idiot, she's like, yeah, I'm a neo-Nazi. Fuck those guys. Well, literally. Okay. And the neo-Nazis, what did you think she did? She just did porn with other Nazis? Okay. Have you ever seen porn? I like what JR said back there. He's like, yeah, they did some research to find that porn. I bet they did a lot of research before they ran into that one.
I just love that someone who's in the porn industry is not like for me, I don't care if you're in the porn industry, I don't care if you've slept with, black person, white person, Asian person, whatever. It's none of my business, I don't care, right? But for them, they're like super picky when it comes to stuff like that. But like if someone's having sex on film, that's okay. But if someone's having sex on film with someone who's not white, that's not okay. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, everyone I know, including my family and friends, will see me with several penises in my different orifices of the body.
Jesus, yeah.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, that's rock and roll. A black guy, whoa. Dude, what difference does it make what color the dick is in your mouth?
Oh, yeah. But did she have it coming? Did she?
Apparently she did. Am I being too outrageous today?
Yeah, you've had a lot of cocks and mouths today. Yeah. Okay, that's a little excessive. I gotta be honest with you.
I don't think that was the right way of stating it.
You don't like that.
Well, the way you. Okay, I think.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right. Yes, and look, I don't. Yeah, see, I knew it. I knew you didn't get it. I knew you didn't get it.
I just got sorry.
Yeah, no, she didn't realize what she was saying.
Yeah.
Like she was just saying it as a thing, and then, but then.
Okay, let's just move on. Now I feel really uncomfortable.
You feel very uncomfortable. Okay, I let one go. For the first time today, I didn't say something that came to my mouth. Okay.
Jeez.
Sounded even worse. We've got to move on.
We do. A TYT classic story. A woman has spent $25,000 on plastic surgery to look like Jennifer Lawrence. It is one of her favorite actresses. She really likes the way that she looks. And this woman, who goes by the name Kitty, felt that, this story is ridiculous, felt that, Jennifer Lawrence is a respectable actress. She's won an Academy Award, and as a result, I want to be like her. Now, let me give you the list of different things that she's had done. At First Surgical Hospital in Houston, Kitty underwent liposuction to her face and body, a breast augmentation, rhinoplasty, which is a nose job, a fat graft to her cheeks and behind. That's interesting, which took 6 hours and cost $25,000, minus a discount for appearing on TV to talk about the procedures that she had done.
Oh, well, good for her. She got a discount. And in the end, she looks nothing like Jennifer Lawrence. I believe this would be called a fail.
I never understand. Okay, I think she looks more like Mandy Moore.
Oh, yeah, she does.
So that's her on the left, and then, of course, Mandy Moore on the right. And I'm like,
no, not of course. I wasn't positive that wasn't the same person.
No. But come on. I'm the one who called that. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
She got plastic. The plastic surgeon thought Jennifer Lawrence was really Mandy Moore. Dude, you got to go to a better plastic surgeon.
And the plastic surgeon should take the discount back.
Yeah.
Because she went on TV and has now discredited him.
Yeah.
If you go to that plastic surgeon, yeah. I'd like to look like George Clooney, and I come out looking like George Costanza. I'm like, wait. Something went a little amiss here.
Yeah.
She looks nothing like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. Look, if that was her goal, then obviously it wasn't successful. She wasn't successful in executing that goal. But she looks good. She looks good. She's happy. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what matters the most, that she's happy with it. She thinks she looks like Jennifer Lawrence, so do you, boo? You know what I mean? Like, if you're feeling good about yourself.
Well, it's very ironic that you say that, because she was trying to do someone else. She was trying to look like Jennifer Lawrence.
Right.
And so, look, we've talked about this in the past. I have my silly 2 plastic surgery rule. I think it's totally fine to do 2 of them, and then I'm a little worried you're going to get carried away. It seems like she got a little carried away, but yeah, she does look better, and if that makes her feel better. But there's got to be a bounds of reason to that. But hey, man, look, if I was born with, ears that protruded out or something, or cleft palate, whatever, would I do surgery? Of course I would.
Yeah. Look, I had a nose I didn't like, and I got that fixed.
Damn,
Boom,
drums.
that's right. That was a big ass bomb on the show.
She just dropped that. I
did. And I've never talked about it before because, quite frankly, like, that was a personal decision that I absolutely loved. And also, I didn't want to promote the idea that if someone has a big nose, they're not beautiful. For me, I didn't like it because I got older. I lost the baby fat in my face. It looked bigger. And I was like, I don't know. I can fix it if I want to, so why not?
Yeah.
So I did it, and I was really happy with that decision. So
No, now I didn't have a nose job because I never lost the baby fat in my face. So I'm looking forward to that. When I do, I'm going to get it slimmer.
Yeah.
No, the funny thing is, I also got a nose job. But not on purpose. As longtime viewers of the show know, I once got my ass kicked in Miami, and the guy erased my face. My nose wound up over here.
Yeah.
And I, as luck would have it, there was a plastic surgeon in the emergency room because it was South Beach. Okay. And he rearranged my nose and did such a great job with the plastic surgery on the spot in the emergency room that you can't even tell the scarring anymore. So what was I supposed to do? Leave my nose over here? Okay, so sometimes plastic surgery makes sense. So we're not judging. I'm just concerned for people when they overdo it.
Yeah, so the surgeon says that he had an interview with her and he thought that she was like mentally healthy enough for him to go through with these surgeries, and she seems like she's done. And you're right, I mean, there are people who have serious conditions like body dysmorphic disorder and then they go too far. But, you know, he says that she's not a fit for that case. You know what I mean? Anyway.
And he also took her money. That's another thing, too.
$25,000 is no joke.
And look, by the way, you look beautiful now. Mandy Moore is lovely. You look like her. So leave it be, okay? Right. Take your winnings off the table and move on with your life.
Now, her husband apparently got some plastic surgery in order to look like John Idarola.
Oh, interesting. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, disaster. This is going to be a fun part of the story. This was something I noticed in the morning meeting. Now, there's no way you can tell, so we're going to... It's a total fail on our part. But her husband looked weirdly like Johnny Pie. Sad day. All right.
Well, this is the main thing. This is the very main thing, first of all. You two had nose jobs, I'm sorry. But ironically, I didn't.
That's still your beautiful nose.
I'm keeping
beautiful
it
nose.
There we go. That is bananas.
Why didn't we find that picture of John? There's no way that isn't the worst picture of John we've ever had. That's not right. That's not right.
I assume he needed one where he shaved his face so then he could look more like this guy.
No, he does look more like that guy. I just feel bad because that's the goofiest look John's ever had on his face. Okay, funny.
Anyways.
This show is wonderfully awkward today.
It really is. It really is. Lots of bombshells and stuff. All right, moving on.
You're not going to do this story?
We cut that story.
Sad day. Maybe I'll talk about it in the postgame.
Okay.
And you'll tell me why you cut it. Okay. So that's the fun Drums Inside Baseball the members will get today. In the postgame, along with, what was the other thing you promised?
Oh, how I got booked on David Feldman's show.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
David Feldman, by the way, ranks as the #1 person I run into most often. I almost run into him more than I run into my wife. Yeah, I don't know why. Every time I go out to eat, I'm like, hey, Dave, how you doing?
I could have sworn I saw him at the live show on Saturday night. Was that him?
No, except it probably was.
Okay.
Because he's everywhere we are.
Yeah.
It's just random coincidence. Anyway, yes, next.
Okay, moving on. A driver in Tampa, Florida, got footage of someone who was rear-ending her. That's what they call it, right? No, tailgating her. A driver in Tampa, Florida. A driver in Tampa, Florida, got footage of someone who was tailgating her while she was driving, and the video ends in a very amusing way. Take a look.
It's a great ending. That's what you get. All on video, buddy.
I don't like that she was filming him though. Like that's also extremely dangerous to do. Like pay attention. Just pay attention to the road. I mean, that video went viral. It was great. We're all amused by it, but there could have been a lot more damage. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but it's the truth.
Okay. I denounce and reject what Anna is saying. I enjoyed every part of that video. No, of course it's dangerous to do filming while you're driving, but I saw a local news report about it. She finally came out. She didn't want to give her name, even though her face is on TV, so I didn't quite understand that. But then the local news reporter was like, and the police say that they were okay with the filming because they got the evidence they needed on this gentleman.
Well, they did. He got arrested for reckless driving. In fact, reckless driving, leaving the scene, although he didn't crash into anyone else, so I don't know if he caused any property damage. I couldn't really tell from that video, but who knows?
He might have been drunk. That's why a lot of times you leave the scene. Even if you don't hit anybody,
yeah,
you got to get out of there before they do a breathalyzer on you. I don't know if that was the case in this instance.
Okay, so what's the law? Let's say I'm driving erratically because I'm a moron and I crash into a wall and the only damage is done to my car, but the wall is fine. Like, do I have to stay there and call the police and be like, hey, yo, I just crashed into a wall. No one's hurt. But
and then you have to say,
I regret it. I'm sorry. Saying I'm sorry. That was just my mistake and my bad. I'm sorry.
Like, the funny thing is, if you call the cops sometimes and you say, like, oh, I was robbed, like I did in New York when I was robbed, they're like, yeah, dude, we're not going to come. I'm like, I have his fingerprints. They're like, not interested. Right? But if you're right, though. If you smash yourself in the face and then you call the cops, they're like, oh, okay, we'll be right there.
We're on our way. Don't leave the scene. You might get prosecuted for that. And also, he also got cited for not wearing a seatbelt. So those are his charges.
But look, everybody likes that comeuppance, and he looked angry. Like that's why they're calling the video "redneck rage," right? Like he's like, "Oh yeah, what you doing, film me?" And I gave him an accent for no reason. And then he seemed, and the reason why everybody loves it is because he seemed like he was kind of cutting her off, which is super dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, very erratically. Yeah, there he is. That's my rage gentleman right there.
The smile on, like the devious smile on his face is priceless.
That's what you get! All on video, buddy!
I love that ending. And I love the thought that must have been going through his head at the very last second.
How embarrassing.
Oh no. What's the girl? And afterwards, I gotta get out of here. Nothing more amusing than people punching themselves in the face. All right, Jesus, you got the mugshot? Okay, I loved his mugshot because he looked so angry. Like, what the fuck did I do that for?
Yeah.
All right, fun for everybody. That's our show.
That's our show.
We ran out of time. There was, between the first hour and the second hour, there was approximately 28 stories we didn't get to. So anyway, guys, we can skip the morning meeting tomorrow. We're all ready for tomorrow's show. All right, we love you all. We got a fun and exciting post game for the members. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.
You liked that, didn't you?
All right, if you want the whole show, you like it even more, go to tytnetwork.com. Go under member options, and you can get the whole show anytime you like.